This right here is the illustration that I am going to be working on for this video. So the first thing I do is bring the opacity down of my sketch because I don't like it looking so harsh. And I will paint sometimes on top of my sketch. I'll just use the Blackburn and I'll just go ahead and paint like right on top of it. But sometimes I'll do it right under so that the sketch is still on top, and after I do whatever cleaning up I need to do. So I think that's what I'm going to do on this video so that it can be a little bit more clear about what I'm working on. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start on some color. So the first thing will be a background color, and I'm probably going to go with a pink. So there's a lot going on this illustration, and I'm probably going to start with a character and block her out, and after she is done I will work on the paintings to make sure that the color feels like it makes sense and it won't clash with whatever outfit I put on her. But before I do that, I want to come up with a floor. I'm probably gonna use like a lighter kind of pink. Let's go ahead and work on her. I make different layers for the different colors. There's no specific way to the way I do this. I just kind of, if I'm gonna work in a new color, especially if it's gonna touch something like the background or this color right here, I will make a new layer so that they don't touch, and if I change my mind or want to move it around, I can do that without having to redraw the whole thing, because I've learned my lessons. Layers are there for a reason and they are super helpful. So sometimes I drop my colors in for these because the brush is so flat. The textures only really show at the edges. I don't really mind dropping the color in. I won't do that if I'm going for my more painter style. But anyways, here's the skin. So I'm gonna go like down there, and I always go right there for skin color, and then just kind of play around. Her clothes are very cool, so I want to go like a more warm color, but that's still very cool. When I'm doing my colors, it's important for me to have a good mixture of warm colors and cool colors. Like this pink, it is pink, but it is more on the cool tone. So I like to make sure I have some stuff that are more warm tone, so that it has a good contrast in that sense, not just colors. Since her hair is blue, I don't know, I feel like her outfit might be a bit too blue toned, but at the same time, not sure just yet until I do the stuff for the art in the background, because that is gonna have a lot of colors and a lot of different stuff. So I'm trying to figure out what color to use for her shoes. Probably gonna go with like a white, and I was gonna make them like little booties. Let's see if I like the way that looks, because usually I do sneakers and it's the first time that I'm trying something a little bit different, so I'll see if I like the way it looks. When I'm doing my illustrations, the first thing I'm doing is pretty much color blocking. I'm just kind of blocking my sketch out and making sure that the colors are where I would like them to be, so that after that I will take off my sketch or keep it on if I need it, but I will click mask everything and add all my details in. But for now, I'm color blocking everything to kind of just get an idea of what colors can look like, but then I'll add more colors to balance things out when I add the details. Like right now I'm gonna do the paintings, but all I'm gonna block in is the shapes with what background color there would be. I'm not really gonna do the stuff inside just yet. I'll do that in my more detailing stage. And the way I do it is, once I have one color, I'll put it down in the different spots that I want to put it, so that I can feel that things are kind of balanced. And then I can change things around if I need to. And I'm not super settled on the colors when at this stage. I'm just settled on balance. So if I need to change the colors around, I can do that, but everything will still feel balanced because I've already been making sure that it's doing that. I'm not 100% sure yet that it's feeling balanced. I'm still kind of testing it out. I'm not even 100% sure on this color. It's the color on the floor. I don't know if I want to bring it up just yet, but we are for now. Now that they're all filled in, I'm gonna take that off and just kind of get a sense of the color. And honestly, I kind of like that. So this is what it's looking like. This is very flat. This is a buy for some people. For me, it is just too flat. There's not enough detail, but I'm pretty much already all color blocked and ready to go for details. So I'll start with details on the pants, and that's adding a clipping mask. You make a new layer on top of it, and then you tap on it and click clipping mask, and what that allows you to do is to draw on top of it without it coming outside of that shape that you already created. So I want the color to be, this is going to be the shadows and stuff. I don't really do line work in my art, so I take this color that was there and then I go ahead and make sure that the next color I'm going to use for these details is darker, and then I just pretty much follow like this one. So I also add details, like I like doing the little like seams for pants, so that it's not absolutely 100% flat, which again, it's a thing, it's a vibe. I do still like things to feel simple, not too detailed, but also not super flat. So it's just like a mixture of that. Some shadows to the hair. The shadows are kind of what like bring it to life, in my opinion. So now she's popping a little bit more out of the picture, so that's good. I definitely don't like the shoes as heels, so I'm gonna go ahead and make those into sneakers because it feels more like me, and that's important. Adjust some things here. There it is. And like that. And darken this. Now the arts, they're all well, I guess not all of them, but most of them are on frames. So I'm gonna just merge these down because again, they're not touching, so it's gonna make it easier if they're all in just one layer. I don't have to keep making clipping masks for different layers, and it's gonna work for me. It's already a clipping mask. Now I'm just gonna figure out what color I want to use for a frame, and I kind of want to use like a gold color for some of the frames, so I'm gonna go off this color so I stay in that kind of tone and it still matches, but I'm gonna go a little bit brighter for it. So I'm gonna add that one here. I don't really care about wonky lines. I like wonky lines in my work. It's kind of like mark making for me. So I work in stages. I have like certain steps that I take, and I don't focus too much on perfection and all the little details until the end, once I don't have this sketch there, because that sketch always bothers me. It doesn't look the same as what is with just the color, so I make sure that I can just get rid of the sketch and not have to put it back on there. So that's what I'm working on. Let's see, let's look at it without the sketch and see if I want to add any more frames or if I want to just keep it. Maybe if I add the frame to this one, it would make sense. What color frame should I do? I guess I'm gonna go with white. And because the layers are under the character that I made, I can draw where they are and it won't draw over them, and I don't even have to finish it or make it look nice. I can just do whatever and you won't see it because that layer is covering that. So that's why it's nice to draw on different layers, and it's important to do so, because if I were to draw all of this in the same layer, I would have to be super precise, or I would need to do that first and then the other thing, and I wouldn't be able to move it around or anything like that. So doing different layers is very important, at least for me. Maybe some people can work without moving their layers around and stuff like that, or doing different layers, but for my style and the way that I draw, I like to use a lot of different layers because I'm still not done, but it's getting there. All right, now I'm gonna do the art. So this is pretty much the art that is gonna be on these frames, and I'm going to have it as another clipping mask, so I will put it under the frame clipping mask, and I just add a new layer and it automatically puts it as a clipping mask because there was already one. So I'm gonna start with this little flower right here, and now I'm just gonna pull colors pretty much from like around the other ones. Doing these drawings, usually if I was really drawing this flower, I would draw it in different layers, the whole stem and flower, but I'm not too worried about it because again, I don't need them to be super perfect. I'm more worried about the overall picture looking good. So now that I have it pretty much all filled up, I'm gonna take my sketch off and I'm gonna stop working with my sketch, and I'm just gonna start cleaning my stuff up. So it's just doing things like that, just seeing what feels like it might be a bit off and adding to it. So I added all of the detail that I wanted to add, and this is what it looks like. I still want to have a bit more texture, so I have this paper like texture that I use on most of my illustrations. There's a couple other ones that I use too, but this is one of the ones that I've been using recently. I bring down my opacity to 10% so it's not so harsh, and then I make it a linear burn, which darkens up my colors a bit, but it adds like this paper like texture, and it's very subtle, but I really like it. So that is how I illustrated on Procreate. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, just go ahead and ask them over on the comment section. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me, go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.